Welcome to the live stream on QuickBooks versus Sage Intacct. If you're watching this live stream, you might be considering that you have outgrown QuickBooks or going to, or you might be considering it if you're a new business or you're a small business. And you're also curious maybe about Sage Intacct. So QuickBooks is a good solution if you are a small business or startup and you don't expect to experience a lot of growth. If you don't care so much about automations, getting notifications, integrating any software outside of QuickBooks, such as sales, marketing, HR, project management software. If you don't care about integrating that in with your ERP, and you really don't care about dashboards and customizing and having real-time accounting, then QuickBooks would be an okay solution for you, okay? Intacct has been developed in the cloud to be able to be integrated with multiple different softwares, including those project management, the sales, the marketing, the HR platforms that are out there. So on their marketplace, they have a whole list of different integrations that they have, that other software companies have integrated in with Intacct, okay? Intacct is also endorsed by the AICPA as best-in-class software. And the other thing about Intacct is it really is a software that works for you. You don't have to work the software. So you can get information out of the system sent to you automatically instead of going in and running the information that you need, okay? QuickBooks is an on-premise server software if you're not using QuickBooks Online. So if you're a contractor, QuickBooks Enterprise is an on-premise server-based product. If you have updates, if you have data integrity issues, if you have some maintenance you need to do on QuickBooks, you still need to be doing that with a product that is on a server. You also have to maintain your server as well. And you have costs with that associated with that. With native cloud products like Intacct, it takes away the archiving issue, your maintenance, your updates are automatic 4 times a year. You don't notice any of this stuff, but it's such a huge game changer on not having to maintain that type of level of technical data in the background. So say you're using QuickBooks now, how do you know that you are outgrowing it or have outgrown it? If you're doing quite a bit in Excel, if you're going into the software frequently and you wish you could get some information out automatically via email, you wish you could have some triggers. If you do a task, it triggers something else. There's not a whole lot of that in QuickBooks. Also, if you're multi-entity, you cannot run consolidations. So in Intacct, you've got all that. Okay, so if you feel like you're, in your software a lot, you're managing it, you're dumping to Excel, you really want to consider that you've outgrown your software, okay? You want to look at other solutions like Intacct. So in Intacct, I'm going to show you the dashboards and I'm going to compare it to the QuickBooks dashboards to start, and then we're going to show some other technical differences on the two systems. Okay, so over here in Intacct, we have a dashboard, project performance dashboard. Notice at the top, I have different filters that I can put on this dashboard. So if I want to change any of my, they're called components, or you can see they're like sections and reports, performance cards as well. You can change your locations. You can do different things up here with the filters and apply them and your numbers will change. Okay. So performance cards here, everything's customizable on here, by the way. Performance cards on here, you can do different things with these, different metrics, different numbers, counts with statistical journal entries. You can do comparisons to prior, and you can make these arrows and such. So really, really cool flexibility with the different types of components on a dashboard. So these are components, performance cards are. Then you've got report components that have drillability. So similar to QuickBooks, where you can drill in very nicely, you can click on a number here and it gives you the detail, and you can get down to that source transaction and see the actual image right from your dashboard. So not sure what you hit for costs for a job, what hit on that job this month, and you want to pull that up quick, use your dashboard, go down to this level, and you can actually get to the attachment if you have attachments from your paperless accounts payable software. Okay. So really, really easy to drill down in Intacct, just like QuickBooks. Okay. So if I scroll down a little bit more, you can see, so anything in blue you can drill down on. You've got all sorts of reports. Again, this project performance dashboard was created and all of these different reports were added. Okay. So you can see I've got even more down here, and I've got pie charts and graphs. I can tell it if I want bar, line, and do different things with my X and Y axes and such. Okay. You also have a workflow that you can create on your dashboards. So what I mean by that, when I go over here and show the payroll workflow dashboard, this one was built in keeping in mind someone that is a payroll clerk or payroll accountant that will come in and do a task, okay, for the day or the week. So I'm going to import in my time cards. I'm going to process payroll. I'm going to select checks for processing, process through, run some registers, and generate, an ACH file. I've also got links here to other integrated software where it'll take me right to that specific web page and have me do my login there. So you can put all your links and your specific screens inside of Intacct right here on your own dashboard to help, basically keep you out of the menu, hunting around, searching for my screen. I can do it right all here on my dashboard. Okay. Over in QuickBooks, I've got a dashboard here that is, similar to, it's a workflow dashboard. So it's pointing me what to do and what screens to do next. Okay. So tiny bit customizable depending on some things you've turned on, but not like this over here where you can edit your links, drag and drop them, customize these entirely to what you would like to see. So I'm editing one right now, and it's going to show here my different tasks. I can easily just drag and drop them around and move these around in the order that I'd like them. Okay. In QuickBooks, you do have this Insights dashboard that has some information on it. So it's got 6 or 7 reports you can pick from, including these that are showing that you can show or hide. So you can't really customize this like you can over in Intacct with your different components and your different structures of what you would like to show on your dashboard, including workflows all in one spot. Okay. Okay, so now, as I mentioned earlier, Intacct has automations of reports that can be sent out. So if we go over here to the Report Center, I'll show you the scheduling that you can do inside of Intacct. Okay, so I'm going to navigate here to another company that has some scheduled reports in here. And number one, I'm on the Report Center. So in your reports menu, I'm right here. And I've got a list of all reports that are in the system and sorted. I could filter by different applications. So I'm going to filter by, though, this report group one. So I grouped some reports in here for a schedule for a group of reports to go out together. So I've got my balance sheet and P&L. I could add whatever I want, cash flow statement, any other reports I want to go out on a monthly basis in this report group. Okay, so you build your report group, then you can schedule it here or any reports, individual ones, and set a schedule for that report group or individual statement. Okay, so you can do filters up here if you want. If you want to just send out locational monthly financial package to certain people only, you can do that. You could leave them off and do all locations. It's kind of similar to an Outlook recurrence on, a recurrence for a calendar. So you're going to do, 12, after 12 months, I'm going to stop. I'm going to start this happening on July 11th. I'm going to set it out 12 times, and I'm going to send it out monthly and once every month, okay, on the 11th. So this specific schedule, I've said I want to store these in Intacct. I can also email them out. I can store them in a cloud solution such as OneDrive, Google Drive, and different cloud storage systems, okay? So you can do different formats. You can do Excel. You can do a printable PDF. But I have decided to store a hard copy of my financials monthly in Intacct, okay? So this one I just set up. It's not actually a stored one, but I'll show you a different report, the stored reports, and what that looks like as well, okay? So it's going to take a snapshot of your financials at that point in time and keep them in the system all in one spot, okay? So I've scheduled that now. Come over here to scheduled, and you can see my monthly financial package is on the scheduled tab here. And all of the reports or report groups that I would schedule would be listed here. So if I change this to all, and I don't think there's any more individual statements, but they would all be listed under their category. And you can see the report group one right there. Okay. So in various places in Report Center, there's this View Stored Reports link that you can click. So these would be ones that have already been generated. Okay. So I'm going to go to a different spot here and view those stored reports, because that one was just filtering for that specific section. Okay, so I switched up to top level because some of those were stored at the top level. Okay, so I was in my entity level, so really cool, multi-entity right here. But at my top level, I've stored those reports, okay, that I've processed before. So you can see these PDF ones that I've generated. I've also got an Excel version here, so I can click on it and I can see what has been saved in the system for my specific group that I clicked on there. Okay, so over in QuickBooks, in the sample company I have, there is a drop-down menu here to schedule reports, okay? And you can do some report grouping in QuickBooks. So there is similar functionality there with QuickBooks. As far as automatically sending them out, storing them in the cloud solution, or storing them here in the actual ERP system, there are differences, and Intacct is superior there. But I do want to point out there is some functionality with that in QuickBooks, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to touch on the differences in some of the reports between Intacct and QuickBooks. So some of those contractor reports. Okay, so in QuickBooks, there are canned reports. You've got the contractor reports menu, you've got the job costing menu, and you've got these jobs, times, and mileage menu area, okay? So I'm going to pull up this job profitability summary report right here and show you what QuickBooks is like with their customization of their reports. Okay, so I'm going to customize this report. And you can see on here that I've got 4 tabs. I've got a date range. I've got how I want to display my columns with the different column headings here. I can do sub-columns. I can turn dollar differences and percentage differences on and off. I can come over here and I can add single filters, multiple filters over here in this section, depending on what's available over here. Okay. I can also do some customization with the title and some things, some, 7 or 8, 9 things here that it's giving me options to do. I can play with some fonts and numbers. So you're really limited to what's on these tabs. Okay. And this is pretty similar across all of their reports. Okay. So now I'm going to show you what happens over in Intacct with the custom report section. Okay, so we're going to navigate over here to the custom reports area, and I'm going to edit one that's already been created. So you can see here in Intacct, I've got a table here of tables here of all of my different types of. So it's a grouping of fields, right? So AP bill would have columns and fields related to an AP bill type of screen or what's available there. Okay, so I'm on a general ledger detail one. I'm going to hit next, and just as I pick this, those columns or those tables differently, my columns that are available will change. Okay, so if I picked a job cost one, I would see job cost detail up here at the top. So I've got all these different fields to pick from, and then I've got different subtables down here below that I can also pick from. So you can see the vast amount of information I can get on one table and into one report. So I'm going to go next here and just show you how easy this wizard is to use and how easy it is to customize a report in here, but with a lot of robust capability. So if I add a calculated column here, I can add up different columns. So if I want to add up my debits and credits, for example, and net amount to a number, I can do different calculations, percentages of total, whatever you want to do here. It's really unlimited with the formula writing here. Okay. So I'm not going to go into great detail. I just want to show you the wizard here and how this customization works. Okay, I can drag and drop my columns around. I just clicked with my left mouse click there. And if I just keep walking through the wizard, as I pick something on the prior screen, it might change, or give me more options on the next one. Okay, so it's very intuitive. So I can total my amount column on the report, my debits and credits, for example, and just keep walking through. I can sort my report based on my project, then my cost code, then my account numbers. You can drag these around, descending, ascending. You can do filters. So if I only want certain accounts to show on the report, I can pick different options here. All these different things I can filter on as well. I can also I can enable grouping. So if I want to group my data by account and total it by account, for example, like a GL detail would, I can do different things as far as doing multiple groupings. Okay. So just keep walking through here, just to give you a flavor of this. You can order the groups. So just more grouping capability there. Give it some titles. Do I want to show details or not? Do I want to summarize my report or give the transactional level detail? Can do some different things with charts there. Additional prompts. So if I want it to prompt me for the date or a project number when I run the report, you can do that. Walking through here, and now I'm at the end. Okay, so basically that wizard let me write a report. So you can make them, pretty detailed. You can just do just a simple, easy, I want a couple columns and write a report. And, you don't have to use all of these. You can skip through it if you want just a simple, I want a couple columns, or you can make it really robust like one like this would do. Okay. Then once it's built, you can add it to your, they'll be on your report menus. You tell it where you want it to go. Do I want it here in my custom reports and projects? Or do I want it in accounts payable, for example? So really easy to report right in Intacct, but very robust. Okay, one more thing or a couple more things I do want to point out with Intacct versus QuickBooks. So inside of Intacct, natively, there are some smart rules that can trigger certain things to happen. So for example, I'm on an input screen and I want to tell my staff person, don't forget to put a field on the screen. Don't forget to fill this out. It can be a soft warning. It can be a hard warning, and stop them from completing the screen. So there's a lot of automations and smart rules, or also what we call triggers, that help your workflow and help you go through filling out screens or warning you of something that you can write yourself. You're not limited to what the system has built in for, a few, warnings you might have, just pre-built that QuickBooks might just have pre-built, or any other system, right? You can write your own warnings and stop gaps there on screens. So really cool functionality with that. So in your top level here, I'm going to navigate back over here to top level. I've got something called platform services where I set up those smart rules. Okay. There's also triggers that are somewhat similar, where it can trigger the system to do certain things if you do something else. Okay. So really, really nice automations and functionality to help workflow, help remind people of things. Really customizable as well, obviously. I also want to point out that in the dashboards, there are some workflows that people have created to build an easy workday where I've got certain tasks I need to perform. So it's going to take me out of my menu so that I can just go to my dashboard every day and do my daily tasks. And I can order these the way I want. I can customize them. If I click my settings icon over here, I can tell it what screen I want it to point to, for example. So I can order these and move them around. If they're out of order, I can add new ones and point it to different screens. I can point it to websites. So if I have an external timekeeping system, for example, I can point it to that website, click the link here, instead of having it, I've got to go find it up here in my shortcuts. I got to go there. I've got to log into Sage. It really does workflow out your day, your week, your month, really whatever you want to put here. You've also got your reports you might use regularly. You've got little performance cards if you want to track a specific metric. Maybe you want to see, how many employees you've added that month. There's just so many things you can do in here with real-time reporting, real-time accounting, and to help you function the best way and the most efficient way. Okay, also, you can run your multi-entity. So you've got multiple entities set up. Now this one's global, but same premise. You can run your consolidations and set up your consolidations very easily inside of Intacct. So you have intercompany automatic eliminations. You have a consolidating with an elimination column spreadsheet or report. So you basically can do your consolidation here. It's so easy. You just consolidate, and then your report is available. It even has, if you're global, it has your rates here. Your reports, so it's basically done. Your reports here have your consolidating balance sheets, income statements. You tell it what you want to eliminate when you set up your balance sheet and income statement. So if I just look at one here, you can see how easily I just consolidated everything. Okay, so I've got my elimination column, all of my entities here with for my November. Okay, it's repeating October and September, but here would be my 1 month consolidating balance sheet that I just ran in literally 5 seconds.
Okay, now, last thing I do want to say about the difference between Intacct and QuickBooks is, remember QuickBooks there is a QuickBooks Online, but QuickBooks Enterprise, if you're a company that needs, your contractor reporting, your different construction type information here, QuickBooks Online really doesn't suffice. You need, enterprise or a desktop solution. So it is on-premise server based. Intacct is native cloud. It's built to work in the cloud. It's built to integrate with various different systems. So to create efficiency for your company, to be in the new era of cloud-based systems, you really, really want to consider Intacct for that efficiency. So if you go out to Sage Intacct Marketplace, so marketplace.intacct.com, you can see all of the various different integrations that they have, different submenus over here. So there's hundreds of different integrations they have all over the verticals that they have. So you really, really want to consider, if you're using multiple software systems, going into a native cloud solution like Intacct versus QuickBooks to get the best bang for your buck. So if there's any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. But thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.